Okay. I will be refuting Claudia's main claim that integration of special ed students in general ed schools works because it benefits schools. I'm going to dive right in here. Claudia's first secondary claim, the whole school population benefits from having the special ed students. Solid. What does she support that with? Let's find out. She supports it with 3 subpoints. A, allows special ed students to be in a more natural environment. B, teaches them to function in society. And C, gives their parents reassurance that their kids are being treated fairly. That's all well and good, but Claudia doesn't cite a single piece of evidence to support any of these. Furthermore, all of these subpoints are just more claims, are just basically just more claims that have no support, and they don't even really try to prove that it benefits the school. It more says, they more try to prove that it benefits special ed students themselves. Like, teaches them to function in society. I don't know how that benefits the school, but that just says it teaches a special ed student how to function in society. It benefits the student. Let's move on to the second claim. Studies have proven that it's a good thing to have special ed students in a general school. And for this claim, Claudia cites one study, and she says, students with disabilities that go to general ed classes have fewer absences and score higher in math and reading tests. And in the long run, they can get a paying job and live in non-segregated housing. Well, that's all well and good. That's a great fact. Fine, that's cool. But does it benefit the school itself, which is what the main claim is saying? I would say no. It's saying it benefits the student, the special ed student, which is not, it's a fine fact, but that's not what you said you were going to try to prove in your main claim. And your third point, integration of special ed students into the general education population has positive effects on society. And in this main claim, she cites her personal experience at her own high school where the special ed students were integrated with the football team and their dance team, and it created a big sense of community unity. Anyway, I'm a opponent, I don't even know it, guys, come on. Anyway, now, again, this isn't saying how the school itself is benefiting from integration. It's saying the community is benefiting. It's saying the special ed students themselves are benefiting. But it's not proving what you said you're going to try to prove, which is that the integration benefits the school. And even if it did, this is just one school out of, there are over 36,000 schools in America. So even if this evidence did help support your claim, I would say it's a hasty generalization because you're only using one high school out of over 36,000 in the nation, as opposed, it's not even getting to the world. So, to summarize, Claudia's main claim is that integration of special ed students in general schools works because it benefits schools. She had 3 claims that didn't really support her main claim, but supported a different claim that integration would benefit the student, not the school itself. So I would say that you should have had a different claim than what you had. Thank you.
All right, John, you labeled the main point clearly, and the secondary issues that you signpost them as you get to them. On the first point, you've got 2 counterclaims that you make, or I shouldn't say counterclaims, 2 distinct declarative sentences that you present. One is that there's no evidence, and second, that it really doesn't show that it benefits the schools, which, by the way, is the same claim that you make on the second point and on the third point as well. It's a legitimate challenge to the question of relevance. Now, here's the problem that I have, because it benefits the schools. Well, what do we mean by benefits the schools? I have no doubt that Claudia would say the improvement in student performance benefits the schools. That would be one of the ways that you would define what a benefit to a school is. That community unity, which, by the way, I did appreciate the little rhyming scheme on that one, would be something that would be beneficial to the schools. Now, if you don't think that it's adequately proved that, I think that that's okay to say. For instance, Okay, so it's great that we have community unity at this particular school where the kids have been integrated with one another. Did that improve test scores? Did the school expand programs that were available? Did the students attend more frequently than the rest of the students rather than just the special needs students? Did we get any of those kinds of outcomes? There was no evidence on those particular points. So you need to kind of define what you mean by what you would say a benefit was, because you don't really define that. So you're saying, it says it benefits the schools, but how does it benefit? It just benefits the students. I'm assuming, like I said, that her answer would be, that is in fact a benefit to the schools. You need to tell us why it's not a benefit to schools, why it doesn't really produce any desirable outcome, and then I think your argument would have a little bit more resonance in it. I think you've got the right idea here that the claim is maybe problematic, but it might just be a language issue. In other words, it's one of those communication fallacies, and I don't know that you're equivocating here, but we definitely have some issues that are going on. I think a little research might have been helpful on this too. For instance, you challenge, she's got the one study that she mentions on this. I would suppose that there is some good data out there that talks about what the consequences have been to the schools, not to the special needs students, but to the other students, for instance, in classes. I don't teach in elementary schools, but my wife does. And when they have special needs kids in the classroom, it takes up a lot of time. It's just necessity. You got a kid who's autistic in the class who needs some special assistance to do things, and so she's spending 20% of her time on 5% of the student population. That's disproportionate. The other kids they get less time as a consequence. I don't know that there's a measurable outcome on that, except that you can just look at what the time issue is. That's a simple example to look at, and there's got to be information out there that I think you could use to build a stronger argument. Your argument, I'll tell you what, your argument is the kind of argument that I think you would give if we were in a debate, and Claudia made her argument right then, and then you had to stand up immediately and give the response. I think it's a good set of presses. It's a reasonable challenge to the premise and the way it's related to it, but it doesn't really reflect 2 weeks worth of preparation and thought into the argument, so it feels a little bit underwhelming. All right, thank you.